Okay, hi Year 10. Here's part 2 of the short answers and then the extended response. All right, question 3 says, which side, I'm just going to do A, you can do B on your own. Which side, AB, AC, or BC, of these triangles is the hypotenuse? Okay, so remember, oopsies, opposite the right angle, that's the hypotenuse, isn't it? So that's 2 letters on either side, that's BC. Opposite and adjacent to theta. So remember, here's theta. The side that's next to theta, that's the adjacent. And this other side that's left, it's opposite to theta, that's the opposite. Okay? So opposite to theta is AB, where the opposite is AB, BA. And adjacent to theta is AC. There you go. Use a calculator. Now, hopefully you already know how to do this because you've been doing it. So I'll do A and C only, all right? So sine 35 means you press sin, and then you press 35. You don't have to close the brackets on these ones. And use a calculator to find the value rounding to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I got 0.5735, blah, 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 blah. So the 2 decimal places means I keep the 57, but I get rid of the 3. Look at the 3, however. Is it 4 or less or 5 or more? According to the rounding rules, it's 4 or less. So we do not round the 0.57. We leave it as it is. All right, now the next one's a bit different. I'm going to go over this one with you, okay, just in case you didn't do this one. So the way to put this one into your calculator is if you've got a sharp, you should have a key that says DMS. And if you have a Casio or an abacus, you should have one that's got a degree symbol, looks like that. And then it's got an apostrophe, and then it's got 2 more apostrophes next to it. So your button should look like that. On mine, it's on the left-hand side of those black buttons in the top section, and it's above the ENG key. Okay, so either DMS or the button that looks like that. I like to call it the bubble button, but anyway. So this is all you have to do. Press 10, then you press 83, and then you press the DMS or the degrees, minutes, seconds button. Then you press 12, and then you press that DMS key again. Or degrees, minutes, seconds symbol. So the symbol for degrees is an O, the symbol for minutes is just 1 apostrophe, and the symbol for seconds is 2 apostrophes next to each other. Okay, so 10, 83, degrees, minutes, seconds button, 12, degrees, minutes, seconds button. My calculator opened the brackets, so I'm just going to close them. Don't think it makes a difference, but just in case, my answer was 8.38. 625. That's right. Okay, and the answers are actually at the end of this if you want to check them. So the 2 decimal places means I keep those 2, but I get rid of the 6. Now, is the 6 in the 4 or less or the 5 or more category? Hopefully you said it's in the 5 or more, miss. So that means we have to add 1 to the 8. So it's 8.39, my answer. Okay, so that's how you use the DMS key. 5. I'm just going to do 2, I think. 1. I don't mind. I do all 3. I don't really care. All right. So here we go. I'll just make this a little thinner because it's a bit fat when I make it bigger. All right. So 5A, label the sides as normal. Okay. So opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. Next to the degrees is the adjacent. And the last one left is the opposite. Now there's no number or letter on the adjacent, so we're not going to use that. So which one out of SOHCAHTOA uses O and H? Hopefully you said sin. Sin theta equals O over H. So I'm going to put all the numbers and letters where they need to go. So sin, the theta is the 40 degrees. The O on top is the X. The H goes on the bottom, that's a 7. All right. So my working out, remember, I need to get the X on its own. So that's divided by 7. What's the opposite of dividing by 7? Timesing by 7. So what that does is it cancels this out and gets the X on its own, which is what we want. And then you just do all of that on your calculator. 7 times sin 40, and our lovely calculator does all the work for us. So X 2, round to 2 decimal places, is, mine says 4.499. 4.499. So 2 decimal places, getting rid of the 9. Is the 9 in the 4 or less or the 5 or more category? Hopefully you said it's in the 5 or more. So that means we add 1. Now notice here, if you add 1 to the 9, that makes it 10, doesn't it? So let's just add 1 to the 49, those two all together. If you add 1 to the 49, what do you get? Hopefully you said 50. So that's your answer. Okay, let's try the next one. Try a different colour. Yay. All right. I've got the X, I've got the 3, I've got the 60. Let's put all our letters in. Label first. Across from the right angle is an H. Next to the 60 degrees is the A. Across from the 60 degrees is the O. Pardon me. Okay, so nothing is on the O side. So that means I'm using the A and the H only. Is that so, ka, or toa? Hopefully you said that's cos, miss. So this is the formula we're going to use. Okay, cos. That's 60 degrees because that's the angle. A is X, H is 3. So X goes on top, 3 goes on the bottom, okay? Pardon me. Let's get the X on its own by getting rid of the 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is to times by 3. So do this on our calculator to work out what X is. 3 times cos 60 equals 1.5. Beautiful. We're done. And C, okay, let's see. Let's label our sides. All right, opposite the right angle, that's an H. Here's my angle. Next to my angle is my A. So opposite my angle is my O. There's nothing on the H side, is there? There's no X and no number. So what am I going to use? Which one use O and A? So, ka, toa. Which one? Hopefully you said 10, miss. Well done, you 10 if you did. So 10, 25 equals O is X, A is 2, multiply both sides by 2, X equals, do all this on our calculator, 2 times 10, 25 gives 0.9326, but we only need to do it to 2 decimal places. Crossing off the 2, is that 4 or less or 5 or more? 0.93 is your answer. Beautiful. Oh, there's a lot here. I'll do a couple. I'll do one of each, okay? All right, find the value of the unknown length in these right-angled triangles. You've just been doing them, so I'll just do 2 of these. All right, so let's do this one. We have the angle opposite the right angle. Name the sides first. We have H, and next to the angle we have A. A and H means it's, hopefully you said cos. Right, let's do it. 72 is the angle, so it's cos 72 equals, A is 4, H, is X. This time we have the X on the bottom. Do you remember what we do? Hopefully you do. We're going to swap, right? The X goes over here, the 4 stays on top, and the cos 72 goes on the bottom. Let's do that in our calculator. 4 divided by, or fraction key, cos 72. Now, if your calculator isn't giving you the correct answer of 12.94, according to me, and hopefully it's to 2 decimal places again, yes it is, then you might need to put a bracket around the cos and at the end of the 72. So 4 divided by bracket, cos 72, close bracket. So if it's not working for you, that might be why. Question C. Okay, let's do this button again just to make sure we know what we're doing. Label the sides. Well, that's the hypotenuse. There's nothing there, so I don't use that. Here's my angle. This one's next to my angle, so that's my A for adjacent means next to. This one's opposite my angle. So which one uses O and A? Hopefully you said tan. So tan theta. So I'm going to write tan, what is it again? 3115. 31 degrees 15 equals, O is 2.5, A is nothing, so I'm going to write an X. Again, X on the bottom. So we're going to use the shortcut. We're going to swap those two. So it becomes X equals the 2.5 stays on the top, the tan 31 degrees 15 minutes. Now remember, if you're getting the wrong answer, when you put this in your calculator, put the brackets around there. All right, so when I do this on my calculator, I'm going to go 2.5 divided by, then tan. My calculator opens the brackets, so that's okay. Now remember, for the degrees and minutes, I go 31 DMS key, degrees, minutes, seconds, and then 15 degrees, minutes, seconds key again. My brackets are open, so I'm going to close them, press equals, and I get 4.1198, but to 2 decimal places. The 9 is greater than 5, isn't it? So I need to add 1 to that second one there. So it becomes 4.12. Right, let's try some harder ones. Question 7. A 4-metre ladder leans as shown against a wall at an angle of 65 degrees to the horizontal. Find how high up the wall the ladder reaches. Correct to 2 decimal places. So, high the wall, we're going to do this one first by the looks. We've got a 65 and we've got a 4. So let's see what we've got. We've got 65. This is opposite the right angle, so that's the hypotenuse. From here, this one is next to, so that's A. This one is opposite, so that's O. So to find the X, which is what we do for A, and then to find B, we're just going to find the Y value, all right? So you're pretty much doing the same working out, just with a different trig function. All right, so for the for the X value, I've got to use opposite and hypotenuse. Out of SOHCAHTOA, which ones to use opposite and hypotenuse? Hopefully you said sin, miss. Okay, so that means I'm going to do sin 65 equals, opposite is X. Sorry about that. Writing with my finger does that. I apologize. And 4 goes on the bottom. So using our knowledge of equations, we need to get rid of divided by 4. So I am going to times both sides by 4. That gets rid of that 4 for me. All I need to do now is this on my calculator, 4 times sin 65, and I get 3.625. So to 2 decimal places, the 5 rounds that 2 at the end. So 3.625 is what it was. 252311. So it rounds it up to 3.36. And don't forget, if there are some units, there's some meters. Don't forget to put some meters in. And let's do B, which is the Y value. Now the Y value is using A and H. Okay? So sine, cos, good. Sine, cos, or tan. Which one uses A and H? Thought I did the wrong one then. It's cos, isn't it? So cos theta equals A over H. Make sure you write your formula out. It just helps you remember it a little bit better. Cos 65 equals A is Y. And H again is 4. So you'll notice they pretty much look the same. One's a sin, one's a cos. That's pretty much it. Okay, times both sides by 4. They cancel out, and Y will equal all of that multiplied together on your calculator. 4 times cos 65 equals 1.69. Now that goes to 0.4, but we only want 2 decimal places. 0 is the number that we are going to get rid of. Is that 4 or less? Yes, it is. So that means I don't change that answer. And it's also in meters, isn't it? So I'm going to write a meters there. All right, I'm going to try and finish off this page. All right, let's see. 8. A section of road has a slope of 10 and gains 100 meters in height. So they've done that diagram for us. That was nice of them. Find the horizontal length of the road correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, let's label our diagram. Sorry about that. Here's my angle, 10. It's there. They just couldn't fit it into the diagram. So we have opposite the angle, and we've got next to the angle. So that's adjacent. The road doesn't have anything on it in terms of letters or numbers, so I'm not going to use the hypotenuse. So which one uses O and A? Pardon me? I think you would say tan. Write down the formula. So I'm going to write 10 degrees here equals, opposite is 100, x is adjacent. So 100 over x, right? Our unknown is on the bottom. So let's multiply both sides by x. This is the long way. What's the short way? Swapping those two. And then we divide both sides by 10. That's the long way, or the mathematics suggested way. And the short way is to just swap the tan and the x. So now on my calculator, I'm going to do 100 divided by tan. My calculator, open the brackets, so I'm going to close them. Remember, if you don't get this answer, you might need to put all of that in brackets. I get 567.128182. Let's check our rounding of our question. It says to 2 decimal places. Gee, that's not predictable, is it? So 567.12. What's the number after the 2? It's an 8. Is 8 4 or less, or 5 or more? Hopefully you said it's 5 or more, so I round up. And that's in meters, so my answer is in meters. I'm just going to do this one, and then I'm going to have a rest and do another one in a second, okay? Another video. Question 9. Now we are finding an angle. Whenever you're finding an angle, you must press shift or second function first. So let's label as normal. Opposite, the angle is the opposite side, and opposite the hypotenuse is the hypotenuse. Which one uses O and H? I haven't got a lot of room here, so I'm not going to write it down. It is sin. Sin or sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, opposite is 2, so 2 goes on top. Hypotenuse is on the bottom, which is 3, so 3 goes on the bottom. So on your calculator, press shift or second function, top left corner, then press sin, and then press 2 divided by 3, or 2 over 3 using your fraction key, and I get 41.81. Now let's check, what did it want it to? To the nearest minute. All right, this is good. To the nearest minute, so if I was to round that to the nearest whole number, that would be my answer in degrees, approximately 42. But this wants us to write it to the nearest minute. So press your DMS key. If it doesn't work, you might have to press second function or shift DMS. Most of the time it will work if you just press DMS. I get 41 degrees, I'll write it up here, 41 degrees, 48 minutes, and 37 seconds. Now, just like time, these guys are out of 60. So what's half of 60? Hopefully you said 30. So if this number is over 30, you actually have to add 1 to this one and round it up. So my answer actually becomes 41 degrees and what's 48 plus that 1? 49 minutes. Okay, let's try this one over here. All right, let's have a go at this one. Okay, opposite the right angle, that's H. Next to the angle is A. Opposite the angle is O. Now there's nothing on the H, so I've only got O and A. So hopefully you said that's tan, miss. Now I'm not going to write it in. Tan is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 5, that goes on top. Adjacent is 1.6. Now remember, press shift or second function first, then tan, and then that lovely fraction. So I've got a Casio, so I'm pressing shift, then tan, then 5 divided by 1.6. Mine opens a bracket, so I'm just going to close them. And I get 72.255. Now again, if it wanted your answer in degrees, you just round up to the nearest whole number. So, oh, that's not right. That would be 72 degrees, wouldn't it? But it wants it to degrees and minutes. So you must press the degrees, minutes, seconds button. And when I do that, I get this. 72 degrees, 15 minutes, and 19 seconds, 0.18 if you want to put it in. Okay, so remember, look at this one. Half of 60 seconds is 30. Is that above 30? No, it's not. So we don't add anything to the 15. Our answer remains 72 degrees, 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to have a little break because I'm running out.